Imagine a world where every human being suddenly vanished. What would happen in the immediate aftermath? As the clock ticks into the first few hours of this hypothetical human-free world, the absence of people is immediately felt. The world is plunged into an eerie silence, broken only by the hum of machinery and the occasional animal call. The lights in homes, buildings, and street lamps continue to glow, creating a ghostly tableau of deserted human civilization. But this ghost town appearance is only temporary, as the power grid is not designed to operate indefinitely without human intervention. Power plants, lacking their human operators, would eventually shut down, causing a gradual blackout that sweeps across the globe. The world once illuminated by the glow of human civilization is now in darkness. Meanwhile, in homes and farms around the world, pets and livestock would find themselves locked in, with no one to feed or care for them. Some might manage to escape, while others would not be so lucky. Without humans, our domesticated animals would be left to fend for themselves, facing starvation, exposure, and predation. And let's not forget the infrastructure that we've built. Roads, bridges, buildings, these are not self-maintaining. Without humans to repair and maintain them, they would begin to deteriorate. The forces of nature, no longer kept at bay, would start to reclaim these structures. Cracks would appear, weeds would sprout, and slowly but surely, the concrete and steel monuments to human ingenuity would crumble and decay. In the silence of the humanless world, the immediate aftermath is a stark reminder of our influence on the planet. The lights going out, the plight of our pets and livestock, and the gradual decay of our infrastructure. These immediate effects paint a grim picture. While the immediate effects could be catastrophic, the long-term effects are even more profound. From here we move into the ensuing days, months, and years, where the world continues to adapt and evolve without us. But that's a story for another scene. As days turn into weeks, the picture of a humanless world becomes even grimmer. A world without people is a world where many of our four-legged friends would face immense challenges. Pets, accustomed to the care and feeding provided by humans, would find themselves in a battle for survival. With no one to fill their bowls or open their cans, many would succumb to hunger and thirst. The situation would be just as dire for livestock. Cows, chickens, pigs, and other farm animals, unable to free themselves from their pens and barns, would face a similar fate. Many of these animals have been bred for generations to rely on human care, their survival instincts dulled by centuries of domestication. But it's not just the animals that would suffer. Our constructed world would start to crumble too. Buildings, bridges, and monuments, left without the constant maintenance and repair that keep them standing, would begin to show signs of decay. Paint would peel, roofs would leak, and slowly but surely nature would start to take over, with plants creeping up the sides of our once bustling cities. And then there are the wildfires. Without human firefighters to keep them in check, fires would spread rapidly, consuming forests and towns. The skies would fill with smoke, blocking out the sun and casting a grim shadow over the world. Yet, in the midst of the decay and destruction, nature would begin to show signs of resilience. Wild animals would start to thrive, reclaiming the spaces once dominated by humans. In the cities, urban wildlife like raccoons, foxes, and pigeons would proliferate, adapting to their new humanless environment. The world would be a much quieter place without us, but it wouldn't be silent. The sounds of nature would fill the air, the rustling of leaves, the chirping of birds, the howling of wolves. The world would move on, indifferent to our absence. But as nature begins to reclaim the land, some surprising developments occur. Fast forward a few months or years and the world looks very different. In the absence of human intervention, Mother Nature would begin to make her comeback in a big way. Cities and towns, once bustling with human activity, would slowly but surely be reclaimed by the forces of nature. From skyscrapers to suburban homes, vegetation would start to creep over the concrete and glass structures, turning them into vertical gardens. Ivy, moss, and climbing plants would be the first to stake their claim, followed by stronger trees and shrubs breaking through the asphalt and concrete. And it's not just the plant life that would make a resurgence. Wildlife, too, would return to areas that were previously dominated by humans. Deer would graze in former parking lots, bears would rummage through abandoned shops, and birds would nest in the hollowed-out buildings. The sounds of traffic and construction would be replaced by the chirping of birds, the rustling of leaves, and the occasional roar of a predator. But what about the animals that were once our companions? Our pets? The domesticated animals? Well, they would face a challenging new reality. In the wild world, survival of the fittest is the rule. Many of our beloved pets, without their human caretakers, would struggle to find food and fend off predators. However, nature is resilient, and so are these creatures. Over time, they would evolve and adapt to their new environment. Dogs might form packs to hunt together, while cats would rely on their innate hunting skills to survive. And then there are the farm animals, the cows, the pigs, the chickens. With no humans to tend to them, they too would need to adapt or perish. Some may not make it, but others, through a process of natural selection, might evolve to survive in the wild. So, months and years after humans disappear, the Earth would transform into a wilder, greener, and more diverse planet. A world where nature has reclaimed its rightful place and where the traces of human civilization are slowly but surely being erased. But what about the long-term picture? What would Earth look like thousands of years after the disappearance of humans? Thousands of years after the disappearance of humans, Earth would be a drastically different place. This is not to say that it would be unrecognizable, but the world we once knew would be but a whisper in the wind. Over the course of these millennia, the concrete jungles we once erected would crumble and decay, steel would rust, glass would shatter, and nature, relentless and unyielding, would reclaim the land. The towering skyscrapers, once symbols of human achievement, would be swallowed up by the greenery, their foundations becoming home to a multitude of organisms. The cities, once teeming with life, would echo with an eerie silence, interrupted only by the rustling of leaves and the calls of wildlife. Our homes would be no more than ruins, our monuments no more than relics of a long-forgotten past. The Great Wall of China, the Pyramids of Giza, the Eiffel Tower, all would be swallowed up by the sands of time, their stories lost to the ages. Yet, amidst this seemingly desolate landscape, life would continue to flourish. With humans no longer dominating the planet, the stage would be set for new species to evolve. Creatures we can only imagine might roam the land, swim the oceans, and take to the skies. The animal kingdom would diversify in ways we can hardly fathom, creating a new tapestry of life on Earth. But the changes wouldn't stop there. The Earth's climate would also undergo a transformation. Without the constant emissions of greenhouse gases, the planet would slowly start to cool. Glaciers would cease their retreat, and the polar ice caps might even begin to expand once again. The cycle of global warming could potentially be halted, and the Earth might enter a new phase of climatic stability. In the grand scheme of things, the Earth would recover from our absence, and life would find a way to move forward. Our legacy would be but a blip in the Earth's long history, a fleeting moment when one species held sway over all others. But in the end, life would carry on, with or without us. So what can we learn from this thought experiment? Well, first and foremost, it illuminates the astonishing resilience of nature. With our sudden absence, nature would reclaim its rightful place, healing and flourishing in ways we might not have imagined. From the rapid overgrowth of plants, the return of wildlife to urban areas, and the healing of damaged ecosystems, Earth shows us its remarkable ability to regenerate and thrive. But it's not all green fields and clear waters. Our absence would also underline the profound and lasting impact of our existence. Radioactive waste would linger for thousands of years, our plastic pollution would persist in the oceans, and countless species would remain extinct, their absence a silent testament to our impact. The thought experiment also serves as a stark reminder of the power we wield over our planet. Our daily activities, whether it's driving our cars, using electricity, or disposing of waste, all have significant repercussions. These actions, when multiplied by the billions of people on Earth, can result in profound changes to our environment. Yet, this power isn't just destructive. It's also the capacity to protect, to heal, and to nurture. It's the ability to choose renewable energy over fossil fuels, to recycle and compost instead of sending waste to the landfill, to protect endangered species instead of contributing to their decline. Every action we take, every choice we make matters. So, while it's easy to get lost in the dystopian fantasy of a world without people, let's not forget the reality we're living in. A reality where we have the power to shape the future of our planet. It's up to us to decide whether we use that power to harm or to heal. While it's fascinating to consider what would happen if humans disappeared, it's even more important to think about how we can make the world a better place while we're here. Because we're not just inhabitants of this planet, we're its caretakers. And it's high time we started acting like it.